Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and it's time to enter day number 2 of Everything Goes to Shit here in the Fruit of Grisaia. So in the last episode we wrapped up day number 1 of Angelic Howl. Everything went to shit, basically. I mean, everyone is trying to cope with it as well as they can. They set up their tents, they ate their rations, the deceased were buried, I believe, so I guess we get to see how they continue to survive, or I guess this is where the survival aspect really comes into play. So here we go. Jumping back in, like I said, day number 2. It is now the 15th, and it's apparently almost noon. The second day in the valley. Oh god. That morning, I awoke to the eerie song of distant birds. I had burrowed into my sleeping bag and closed my eyes, fully expecting to lie awake all night, but evidently I must have dozed off at some point. When I forced open my unexpectedly heavy eyelids, I found the interior of our cheap blue tent illuminated by a slanting ray of morning sun. Thankfully, the temperature had risen with the dawn. I must have slept for at least a few hours, but the burden of my fatigue was no lighter. If anything, I felt even more exhausted than I had been the night before. Still wrapped in my sleeping bag, I turned sideways on top of my thin silver mat. Twisting my head toward the other side of the tent, I was surprised to find my roommate missing. Kazuki? Where could she have wandered off to? The mat and sleeping bag Kazuki had been using sat on the ground next to me, neatly tied together in a tight roll. From the look of things, it was unlikely she'd just stepped out to use the bathroom. Kazuki was clearly already awake and taking action. I crawled outside the tent into a clear-skied but dim morning. The sheer cliffs to our right and left intercepted most of the sun's light. What little reached us filtered down through gaps in the thick vegetation far above. No doubt the same reason it felt oddly chilly for a summer day. Others had already emerged from their tents into the gloomy dawn. Here and there, they sat quietly on the hard stone ground. In addition to the trauma and mental exhaustion of the previous day, we'd slept in an unfamiliar environment. Not the best way to get rested and refreshed. Most had barely slept at all, judging from the dark circles under their eyes. I called out to a freshman from the neighboring tent. I'm gonna have to learn how to pronounce these names. Ibuki Haruna, seated some 3 meters away. I almost said 30. Ibuki brushed her long bangs out of her eyes with her fingers and responded listlessly.
Kazuki? Kazami-san ならシャベルを担いで森の方に行ったから、おトイレじゃないかな。そう。
I turned toward the valley's lone exit, the tangle of vegetation we called a forest, but Kazuki was nowhere in sight. I did, however, happen to notice someone acting rather oddly a little way off. It was Sakuma Shit. I have no idea how to pronounce these names. Minori? That sounded like garbage. A third-year senior. She was a talented athlete, particularly skilled at sinking three-pointers, who had earned the title of Scoring Queen in our team. At the moment, she was repeatedly hurling a small object straight up into the air.
Well,
it's nice to see that everyone's on good terms. Ibuki didn't bother to lower her voice. She didn't seem to care whether her frank words might reach the ears of our senior. As the result of last night's discussion, she'd been paired with that very Sakuma senpai, and was stuck sharing a tent with her for the duration of our stay here. The combination seemed logical enough, since Ibuki and Sakuma had been sharing a room as boarder students, but room assignments in the dorm were arbitrary, arranged for the convenience of the school. As in most boarding schools, the freshmen tended to moan about running chores for their arrogant older roommates, while seniors complained about being expected to clean up after some clueless brat. If you're stuck living in the same room for an extended period of time, the reasonable thing would be to deal with your differences and find a way to get along. But it seems things aren't that simple, particularly for girls. And the roommates who disliked each other most tended to be exactly the ones who were kept together when rooms were reassigned the next year. It wasn't just coincidence either. From what I'd heard, our school deliberately tried to create awkward combinations as a sneaky way of maintaining discipline. Letting friends clump together naturally leads to cliques? Whatever. And group attempts to skirt the rules. In turn, this can create sharp divisions between those who want peace and quiet in the dorm and those who want to enjoy themselves. Sometimes these would end in nasty squabbles. In other words, the mixing of oil and water personalities in individual rooms prevented larger scale problems, or so I had heard. As someone who commuted to school, it was a bit hard for me to understand dorm politics.
佐久間先輩、さっきから何をなさってるんですか?
It might be just me or something, but voices sound a little quieter than usual.
おお、あまねか。これだこれ。
Maybe it's just Amane. Sakuma held out the small object she'd been hurling repeatedly into the sky. Specifically, it was her cell phone. She'd been repeating a simple pattern of action, throwing it straight up in the air with all her might, retrieving it on the way back down, and then throwing it right back up again. On closer examination, the body of the phone was battered and covered in fine cracks. She'd probably dropped it numerous times by now.
昨日の夜、眠る前に思いついたんだけどね。メールを送信したまま空に投げれば、うまいこと圏内に入って助けが呼べるんじゃないかなと思ってさ。今朝からずっと試してるんだけど。よっと。
Fucking rip, dude. With a fluid overhand motion, Sakuma launched the cell phone into the sky once again.
それ、すごくいいアイデアじゃないですか。
Yeah, I guess if you're trying to send the message, but in any other way, no, it really wouldn't make sense. Because, yeah, you can try and get a signal that way, but even if it picked up the signal, when it came back down, it's gone. So I guess while trying to send a message, it does make sense. I don't know what I was thinking.
だろ? 私もそう思ったんだけど。
I remember this in the anime. There's a lot of things that are here that were in the anime. I guess the transition from this event to the anime was pretty good. I'm very impressed. Skillfully catching the cell phone as it plunged back to the earth, she flipped on the screen and checked the status of the transmission.
また失敗か。もう50回ぐらい投げてるけど、一度も成功しないよ。やっぱり、風見の言う通りなのかもね。和樹はなんて。ただでさえ電波が届きにくい環境の上に、もし圏内に投げ込むことができたとしても、送信する前に落下してしまえば意味がないってさ。
Yeah, I mean, if you're in an area, like if that... Okay, so even if they were back on the road, if there was no service there, there's not going to be any service down here. I mean, it's kind of just a waste of energy.
だったら、携帯が戻ってこないように、崖の上まで投げちゃえばいいじゃないですか。私だってそう思ったさ。さっきから投げてるのは、崖の上に乗せてしまおうと思って投げてるんだけど、届かないんだよ。
Although I couldn't tell the exact height of the cliff she was aiming for, a conservative estimate would be 50 meters. And since the wall sloped over us, some fairly precise aim would be required to land it on top.
後で何かうまい方法を考えると風見は言っていたけど、守備よく崖の上に乗せることができたとしても、そこが圏内である保証はないってさ。
Right.
そうですか。
What a shitty situation this is. I'd hit on the idea of making a crude sling out of a towel or something to throw the phone over the cliff, but it was true enough. There was no evidence we'd be accomplishing anything even if it worked. If there wasn't any signal up there either, we'd end up throwing away a valuable potential means of communication for nothing. And yet, Sakuma was keeping at her task relentlessly, probably mostly for the sake of having something to do. She seemed to know full well that it was essentially hopeless.
それで、佐 和樹を見かけませんでしたか？
風見ならさっき大きなシャベルを抱えて森に入っていったよ。30分ぐらい前かな。トイレにしては長いね。
What could she be doing if it wasn't
ち
that?
ょっと私様子を見に行ってこようかと思います。
気をつけた方がいいよ。さっき私も森に入ってみたんだけど、道なんてどこにもないし、周りは木ばっかりで目印がないからすぐに迷う。何か分かりやすい目印をつけながら行った方がいい。
Very clear signs.
はい、わかりました。気をつけます。
It had already been half an hour since Kazuki entered the forest. Definitely way too long for a bathroom break. It was hard to imagine Kazami Kazuki of all people making such a careless blunder. But there was a possibility she'd lost her bearings and wandered in the wrong direction. I cautiously made my way into the forest, using the blade of a can opener to mark tree trunks with arrows as I went.
Kazuki!
I tried shouting her name, but there was no reply. I studied the ground at my feet, although trampled vegetation made it clear that some of us had been in this area recently. The trails were indistinct. Alright. Not that I could tell which belonged to Kazuki in the first place. When I glanced behind me, I found the route I trampled through the high grass was still very clear by comparison. Surprisingly, however, it was a meandering zigzag, probably the result of constantly winding my way around trees. I thought I was walking perfectly straight, too. This is what makes the wilderness a truly terrifying place. I thought I had a pretty good sense of the dangers of wild mountains from books and comics. But now that I was actually experiencing one, I was quickly coming to realize how badly mistaken I'd been. I'd gone in believing that getting lost in the woods would generally work out for the best, so long as you reacted appropriately. That naive thought dissolved in the mere minutes inside the jungle. In an environment utterly barren of any trace of other human beings, your sense of isolation quickly builds into anxiety. It becomes easy to rush into action based on unfounded optimistic assumptions. It's got to be this way. It was probably over there. Shying away from acknowledging the worst-case scenario, running around on your intuition alone, you become truly and hopelessly lost. In time, your anxiety reaches a new stage. Am I simply wasting my energy wandering around in circles? An even worse fear, because it's paralyzing. You're frozen where you stand, trapped with your own slowly escalating terror. And eventually, the fear of death creeps up on you, breaking your courage and robbing you of reason. In the end, just such an outcome is entirely likely.
Kazuki!
Okay, she really could not have gotten that far. It hadn't been 10 minutes since I entered the forest, and I could already feel myself trembling. I'd begun to sink into the first stage, powerful anxiety at my own isolation. I screamed Kazuki's name for the second time, a little louder than before. Maybe it would be smarter to return for now, while I still know the way back, then launch an organized search with someone else. But just as these thoughts were running through my head, I heard the rustling sound of someone stepping their way through the high grass a few paces behind me. My body went stiff with shock. I spun around to find that Kazami Kazuki had materialized out of nowhere, the usual vaguely sleepy expression on her face.
人の名前をあまり大きな声で叫ばないでもらえる？ファンに取り囲まれたら面倒じゃない。
Kazuki!
そう。風見和樹よ。サインが欲しいのなら、マネージャーを通して事務所に色紙を送ってちょうだい。何？色紙？
Alright, I guess Amane really has to take that seriously.
いや、だからここであなたはアイドル気取りかって突っ込んでくれないとボケゾンってやつじゃない。あ、そうか。ごめん。いいわよ別に。それほど面白い冗談だとも思ってなかったし。和樹、どこに行ってたの？ トイレよ。一人でゆっくり用を足すこともできないなんて、まさにアイドルのようだと思ったから口にした冗談だったのだけれど。
So, it took her like more than 30 minutes? I guess it could be like the sense of unease, being here in this jungle or forest or whatever.
トイレにしては遅いじゃない。30分も頑張ってたの？
She must have been, she must have been up to something else. That's
つい
obvious.
でだから食べられそうな草を摘んでいたのよ。ほら。
And there you go. Kazuki held out some small, unfamiliar vegetables. They seemed to be immature shoots of some leafy plant.
山菜でも生えていればと思って探してみたけれど、こんなものしか見つからなかったわ。何それ、食べられるの？
Hopefully.
草ソテツのわかめよ。一応生でも食べられるけど、おひたしとかにした方がいいわね。へえ、こんなの初めて見た。あんまり美味しそうじゃないけど。
But if you're told you can eat something when you're in a situation like this, you take it up, man. There's no hesitation.
ろくな食べ物がないから、それらを餌にする野生動物も当然いない。鳥の声はするけど、その姿は見えない。熊に襲われる心配がないのはありがたいけれど、改めてひどい環境だと思い知ったわ。とりあえず朝食はこれで済ませましょう。調理法は任せるけど、調味料の類はできるだけ節約して。食材ならまだじゃがいもも人参も残ってるけど。
It's probably best to save what's really edible for later.
日持ちのするものはできるだけ残しておきたいの。3日でここを脱出できるとは限らないのだし。そっか、そうだよね。そんなにがっかりしないで。確かに絶望的ではあるけれど、助からないと決まったわけではないから。私たち助かるの？どうかしら。別にはぐらかすわけではないけれど、さすがの私にもまだわからないわね。私たちが助かる方法ってあるの？あるわよ。どんな方法？何？あるんでしょ？方法が。あるにはあるけれど、まだ無理。
Why not?
無理ってどういう意味？今の私たちでは実現不可能という意味よ。ごめん、私バカだから意味がわからない。今は無理ってどういうこと？時間が経てば可能になるってこと？
I think what she means is, because not the entire team here is not down for that. We can't separate because that might mean doom for at least one of the groups. So. そういうこと。それに救助が来る可能性もまだ残っているし、今はただじっと耐えるしかないわ。That possibility's really low though. ねえ、どんな方法なの？ヒントだけでも教えてよ。人間が死なないために必要なものってなんだ？ Food and water. 水？ Oh, and air. Oxygen is a very important thing. あ、思い出した。さっき草を摘んでいるとき、湧き水が湧いている場所を見つけたの。というわけで、飲み水の心配は不要よ。Fucking perfect. なんだ、お水か。そうがっかりしたものでもないわよ。水があれば1週間は生きられるもの。部長にはあなたが発見したって報告してくれる？それは構わないけど。じゃあ戻りましょうか。あ、待って、私まだヒントの答え聞いてないよ。人間が生きていくのに必要なものって何？食べ物よ。食べ物？それが助かるためのヒント？ Okay, like yeah, if they had an unlimited supply of food, which is obviously impossible, they'd be totally fine. Well, totally fine in quotations, because there's obviously those who are wounded, but those who aren't wounded could survive for just a little bit longer. There's that mental health sort of thing.
そういうこと。だからできるだけ接触しておく必要があるの。それでみんなが助かるの？全員が助かるとは一言も言ってないでしょ？もう戻りましょう。あまり遅くなるとみんなが心配するわ。カズキ！大丈夫よ。帰り道は完璧に覚えているから。私についてきなさい。待ってよ、カズキ！わお、すごい剣幕ね。何をそんなに怒っているの？
That's an interesting way of saying things, but alright.
ワオじゃないわよ。全員は助からないってどういう意味？
She's thinking realistically. In a situation like this, you really can't expect everyone to survive. It's a terrible way of thinking, yes, but you're thinking in a realistic sense. It's probably for the best in a way to not lie to yourself either. But we have wounded here, man. There's people that are dying right now really fast. So
そういう可能性もあるという意味よ。早い段階で救助が来ればもちろん全員助かるわ。じゃあもし救助が来なかったら？それはその時に考えればいいことよ。編成された救助隊の捜索が打ち切られるのは早くて5日、遅くても14日。
So they just have to survive as long as that.
1週間経っても救助が来なければその時に考えましょう。みんなで。そんなに心配しなくてもあなたはかなりの確率で生き残るはずよ。どんな根拠で？そんなの決まっているでしょ。私のパートナーに選ばれたからよ。
Kazuki really thinks high of herself.
本気で言ってるの？それ。もちろん本気です。さて、質問は以上かしら？よろしい。では戻りましょう。もう勝手にずんずん行かないで。面倒な子ね。不安だから手をつないでほしいのならはっきりとそう言いなさいの。
I mean, alright.
別にそういうわけじゃ。あらそう。じゃあいいのね。手をつながなくて。
Fuck.
つなぐ。はい。お声が遠いのですが。つなぎます。手をつながせてください、和樹様。
Damn, dude.
あら、いい子ね。いらっしゃい。
Finally, like a happy moment in this very shitty situation. Out of the almost 2 hours that I've put into this shitty situation, here we go. Finally, some happiness. Some joy, I guess.
これからは勝手に一人で行動しないで。私心配したんだよ。あなたが私を？そりゃさ、私ごときがおこがましいとは思うけど。いえ、そういう意味ではなくて、むしろ私を心配してくれる人がいることに驚いたというか。でもそうね、ごめんなさい。そんな顔しないで。まるで母親に置いていかれた子供みたいな顔じゃない。大丈夫。あなたを置いてどこにも行きはしないから。約束？
Ooh, a promise.
約束するわ。さ、戻りましょう。
Since I was physically sturdy, I was usually the one being relied on by others. But at that moment, I realized I'd grown totally dependent on that diminutive girl, Kazami Kazuki. I wasn't used to leaning on others like a crutch. Clinging to someone usually made me feel more awkward than anything else. But that day, The distinct warmth of Kazuki's small hand was very reassuring.
冷たい手をしているのね、アマネ。あ、ごめん。
You know, being scared does that to you, I guess.
いいのよ。私の母親もこんな感じの手だから。
Okay.
私のことお母さんって呼んでもいいのよ。
Okay.
あら、言うようになったわね。
Ah, more joy. Well, that was sure nice. That was a nice bit. Alright, I guess we're back to this kind of shit. Alright, well, we are almost out of time again, so I'll end it here so we're not in the middle of shit. I feel like that's the best thing to do, especially in this shitty situation. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fruit of Grisaia, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.